Hey, John, Tim's saying he can't hear you on Twitch.
Oh, I hear it.
We love you, Tim.
Oh, yeah, what's up, guys?
John doesn't like Nirvana.
Yeah, people are gonna stop watching this because you don't like Nirvana. Man,
I thought he did like Nirvana.
no,
John
he
liked
does.
Nirvana.
Yeah, I'm just
Matt's
being
just
a terrible friend.
Boo.
Ooh, that's,
So they almost assassinated Leaf.
they did. I told them to leave me alone.
Oh,
I can't believe I paid them 500 gold. I mean, what?
Testing,
Couldn't even do that.
double checking. Looks like my levels are good. Tim, I am certain that you will be able to see it just fine now and hear my voice. So let me repeat what I was saying. Welcome back to In the Shadow of Fire. Sorry for the system issue there. Apparently my computer had a weird system restart and thought that my virtual reality headset was the best option for my microphone. That said, the last session, there were a group of, or three different groups. The party split into three different sections. Section one was Leaf by himself in the capital city of Peculia, having to face off against two assassins who wished to take his life for unknown reasons. Leaf was able to escape. One of the assassins basically being left to not understand where he had gone to, and Leaf escaped back into the populated portion of the city. Then group number two was Alcantara out on the bridge, the Nardrasi bridge. She went to go communicate with the Nardrasi people. They had a conversation regarding specific lineages and matters therein. Also, the strange absence of the Twilight Knights, who had crossed the bridge to set up defenses, but were not seen by the Nardrasi people. So she returned back, but her and her guard were attacked on the bridge by a strange golem creature with purple light inside of its dwarven armor. It was very competent and capable, and managed to bring the group to a pretty dire standstill. In the end, Valesha requested that Alcantara retreat without her and the rest of the company. Alcantara did just that, and right before she did leave, she witnessed Valesha being splintered in half by the massive blade of the dwarvish golem assassin. And the last group was the rest of the party, who traveled via Alvin's yacht to the Sliver Isle on a return trip. This time to basically continue the onslaught that Alvin had commenced on the three ships that were present on the northern island, our northern portion of that island. Altarian ships with Altarian soldiers and mages who were basically waylaid and left to that island and trying to recover one of the three ships. Didn't look like there were many survivors. Pretty solid shots on the part of the first encounter. But during the second encounter, they attempted to sneak up. Alvin was a bit lead-footed, taking a tumble down a cliff and making a loud ruckus in the jungle,
Alvin.
leading to Alair's surprise being kind of hindered, and leading to a slightly back-footed fight from the get-go. The party lost a number of individuals in the NPC department, mostly hunters of Ulair, but they were capable enough to finish the fight. One of the mages, one that didn't appear to enter the fray very early on, having teleported via some magical means out of the area and away, probably to wherever they were sourced from. Ultimately, they found nothing of substance or interest there, but they did take some prisoners who are currently being held, I presume, still aboard the ship. Everyone slept through the remainder of the night. At the break of dawn, or rather just before the break of dawn, Alcantara, your handmaiden enters into your room abruptly. I'm certain that you've gotten very little rest as it is, and
Yeah, I was going to ask, should I take a point of exhaustion?
if you'd like, she states to you, "Milady, your entourage has returned. They have returned with the body of Alessia and the culprit destroyed and broken, but for your inspection, or perhaps your attendant Cyril's inspection." And hold on a second. You guys go ahead and talk. I'm gonna go and shut this door real quick.
Yeah, well, Cyril just got back, right, with everybody else to the
Correct.
city.
Correct.
Well, this is at the break of dawn, though, he said, like the
Oh,
next
so it's
day.
been the next.
Okay.
Okay.
So we would have, this isn't immediately after everything happened. This is the next morning.
Correct. Yeah. So you have had some time to kind of stop and take stock. And I don't remember if I gave you the ability to trance with Alcantara or not. I don't think I did.
I can't remember if you did or not.
Yeah.
But
So you would be pretty tired. You probably haven't gotten much in the way of sleep. So yeah, go ahead and tap that exhaustion then. But that said, this is very early in the morning. You would have arrived probably middle of the night, and probably said, you got the defenses up, and then kind of boarded yourself in your room, and took a second to think and reflect, and that second turned into hours, and here we are.
right. Just to say, there would, in terms of like the way that things are right now, I'd still be probably wearing the same clothes that I was from the day before. There is a mass of paper sort of both on and next to my desk.
Would you have Alessia's blood on you from being in front of you?
As I said, I didn't change, so
Right. That's pretty.
take that as you will.
Yeah.
And like usual, looking exhausted, slightly disheveled at this point, sort of like a slightly drowned cat.
Okay. If you head into your common room, you would see that the guard that you had with you, and only two of the remaining hunters. You remember there being more when you left. The apparent leader of the group steps forward and he says, "Milady, I am not known to you. And if it is the case that I am known to you, I apologize for assuming that I was not." How do you respond?
Whether you're known or unknown is not worth the time right now. What do you have to say?
Of course. I will tell you that after Valesha's fall, we saw that your desire was her last request. The hunters pulled out nets, threw them to the creature, and attempted to hold it down. A few of them died in the foray, while the rest of us continued our efforts to pulverize the creature. We did so until the light inside of it stopped, and once it did, we gathered it up with the nets. We gathered up Lady Valesha with the nets. She has been taken to your side chamber for your inspection or for burial rites, as we anticipate will be rendered. But we defeated the would-be assassin.
Good. Take the parts over to Cyril and get Halo over here and tell him to prepare for a warrior's passing.
This
Warrior's burial. There we go.
The soldier kind of looks off to the side, and you can see that your handmaiden kind of nods her head as if she is the one who presumes you're speaking to have that done. And she goes, and then the guard looks back to you and says, "My lady, we are currently leaderless. I was concerned with this as a matter, and I do not think that I, who, again, you said my name was not of importance, but I will tell you, I would be next in line to govern that position. I do not believe I am worthy to do so.
Would you have someone else better in mind?
I do not. I was hoping that you would. I will hold the position if you desire it to be so, but, milady, as you can see, and you look to him, and he is an elvish man, but the more you kind of look at him, the more you recognize he has a lot of similar features to your father, in that I mean he is well within his higher centuries of years. And he says, I have been serving in the Rended Isles for some time, and I do not believe my competency is as good as it was when I was a younger lad.
Are you talking merely of your physical strength or of your mind?
I will tell you also that I have not had much to do with the activities of combat, conflict, or war. The current situation was more skewed to Valesha's capabilities, and her passing is a serious blow to us, and I don't think I could fill her shoes.
I don't think that many could fill her shoes. And I turn and close my door.
Okay. Cyril, you arrive back. You notice that the guard of the keep have basically blocked off the portal passageway, the Fey Arch that stands basically between you and the keep. It looks like the entire northern half of northern portion of the town has been blocked away. When you approach to kind of get more information, the guard turn even you away with little conversation and explain that Lady Alcantara wishes to have her privacy and we are to defend. The bridge has been sealed down as well. No one will enter the town from that area, and that's all I can tell you, Master Cyril.
Okay.
You would retreat back to your study, spend some time kind of, just thinking about that and meandering. And eventually, one of your attendants arrives and says to you, Lady Alcantara will see you. And this is very shortly after the sun has kind of broke the horizon.
So I would go to her.
Okay. You see that the guard is not only still present, but it appears to have doubled since you saw them in the middle of the night. It looks like the ones who would have taken a first shift have been up a bit longer than they probably ought to have been, and have kind of taken into their positions. So you have like the remainder of the third watch and the beginnings of the first watch kind of conglomerate base there at the portal. You're led up to the keep. You enter.
This would definitely seem out of the ordinary, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
You're led into the keep. And I already forgot your command. I'm sorry, Matt. You wanted to speak to Cyril, or you just wanted Cyril to see the item?
Oh, no, I just want the items to be taken to Cyril. I didn't
Okay. Well,
plan on seeing him just yet.
well, then
But
you
We
are.
can rewind that.
No. It's still perfect. They bring you into the main room. You can see that there is pretty much no one here, no one present, except for the guard that led you in. And laying out on the floor is dwarvish armor that appears to have a strange kind of faint scent of magic to it. The best way I can describe it is it kind of has a scent of like ozone to the area around it. There's just a very strange, airy, almost burnt, airy smell to it.
And this armor is dwarven in nature?
It does appear to be dwarvish, yeah. The guard says to you, Lady Alcantara wanted for you to take this with you to your tower. We were advised to make sure that you received it. the guards who had brought it here explained a bit about it, and unfortunately, no one was very willing to tinker with it beyond what has already been done to it. And you hear a voice come up from behind you, and it says, "Lady Alcontra was attacked on the road, Master Cyril." And you can see that as you're kind of turning to see who this is, it is Lady Alcontra's handmaiden.
Okay. Is she all right?
She's fine. Valesha is not.
Well, Cyril, let's quiet for a moment. I'm so sorry to hear that.
She
must have been a dire circumstance. Did she give her life for the lady?
She did her duty. And now you must do yours. Find out everything you can about this armor. When it fought, according to the reports of the guards that I spoke to, it glowed with different colored lights. The lights would change depending on what Alcontra was doing. According to the lead guard, one... You see her kind of pull out a small pad of paper and kind of look to it, and she says, Zervos. The entity was capable of flight, wielded that massive greatsword there, and was quite deadly.
Okay, so I would... is the armor, like, massive, or would I be able to pick it up myself?
It's about the size of a dwarf, but it looks like it's very heavy stuff. So we're looking at 60, 70 pounds.
I would ask them to bring it to my tower and ask that if Alcontra needs anything in addition, to please let me know. And I would immediately head back.
Of course, the guards are uncertain whether or not this can be properly moved or touched physically. When it was brought before, it was brought in the nets of the hunters, but they have taken their nets with them. Should the guards take precautions in carrying it, or are they overly cautious in their mindedness?
Can I do a preliminary examination of it to try to determine that?
Make an Arcana check.
27 critical success.
You immediately know what the thing is without even having to research, really.
Okay.
The entity you're looking at looks like it's the ruins of a helmed horror. It's a type of golem or construct that is basically created for a set task. It's not unlike an animated armor, except it has a bit more skill and capabilities. Typically, they're imbued with immunities to specific spells. Usually, the immunities that they're granted are for specific endeavors. Like if a helmed horror is specifically known to go up against a mage, they might be immune to magic missile, fireball, what have you, common spells. They are always magic resistant, they're pretty cool.
And can you just repeat what you said about Zerbos?
Zerbos is the guard who led the group back.
Okay.
He would be currently serving as the captain of the watch in Valesha's absence. But I believe it was something of a matter where he made it known to Lady Alcontra that it is not a position he desires.
Right. And then the greatsword?
Valesha's or the horrors?
The horrors.
If you said the thing's name aloud, she would use it after being told it. I as a DM slip. Did you say the thing is a helmed horror?
I did not, but that's okay. I just asked about the greatsword.
She says Valesha's or the things, and then you say the things.
Yeah.
And she says it's there. She it's on the floor with it.
Okay. Does it also seem to be emanating a magical aura at all?
Similar in kind to the thing, yeah.
Okay. So what I know from that, what I know about the arcana of it, that whether it's safe to bring back to
Yeah,
my.
it's totally fine. I mean, if you could pick up the 70 pounds it weighs, you could probably take it yourself.
Right. So then I would just maybe I would assure them that it is safe, and I would name it to maybe help that say this is something called the Helmed Horror. I can tell Alcantara more about it at the time. Can you please bring it back to my tower?
Of course, at the guards say, and they immediately take it and head on to your tower. Do you follow them, or do you try and linger here?
Actually, I would like to follow them and give Alcantara time because I'm interested in doing whatever research I can about the dwarven connection. And Cyril is thinking specifically about what he learned. I guess it was maybe from Ulair about the dwarves of Balinroth and the rite of Aradnu and this decapitation and death mask, and if there's any connection at all between like the motivations of the two,
Okay.
because it seems like they're both all about um, getting some sort of justice, maybe, or I'm not exactly sure.
Sure. Perfectly fine. So you'll head back to the tower. In the meantime, Lady Alcantara's boxed in. Master Leaf, we had your discussion. You got back in the middle of the night and kind of retreated back to your house and are kind of waking up in the middle of the morning there. Is there anything in particular that you want to achieve? I remember you saying something, but again, I'm horribly forgetful and I've already
Right, that was 2 weeks ago. So, yes, I would like to go report to Lady Alcantara about like that I was attacked, and also about the information I got from my friend at the Capitol. So, that's probably what I would do, since I would think that's pretty important.
So we'll go timeline wise. You're heading up, and you see that the guard are kind of present, and you kind of trying to move up to speak to them. And the leader of this group of guards says, "I apologize. No one is allowed passage into the keep area. Lady Alcantara has deemed it currently a matter of." Uh, uh, and he kind of looks around. We can't let anybody in.
Of course. I will come back later then. Do you have a preferred time?
And just as you're asking that question and he's about to fumble a bad answer to it, you can see that Cyril is kind of walking with a couple of guards in tow, and the guards have like a bunch of cloaks that are kind of lifting something, and they're moving it in kind of like almost as if there was like a dead body in the cloaks that they have. And they're
Right.
walking towards the exit of the gate. Cyril, you can see Leaf up ahead having trouble with the guards.
Well, I would say, Cyril, what is going on?
Is that Lady Alcantara's body in there?
I came to see her.
I don't see anything. I see nothing.
I'm in charge now. No, Leaf, come with me, my friend. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Oh, that looks. Oh, yes, that would be great. I have important news to tell you.
Okay. And if you want to hash that out in character, we can do that, or I can sidetrack to the next person, whichever you prefer.
Well, you can come back to us if you want to give
Yeah.
other people the spotlight.
I was just going to
Right.
do Dan real quick and get him in the mix. So Dan, you wake up and you've got a couple of options available to you. You definitely slept the longest, so the sun is up and everyone's kind of settled into their positions. Lady Alcantara in her room, the cool kid elves in the tower, and so on. But when you wake up, you have a couple of options available to you, which I hope you understand. What would you like to do when you wake up?
So first and foremost, I want to send one of my men, ideally Kirk, to go get me a salve or some kind of aloe swallow rinse for my throat, and then I would send a letter because I wanted the prisoners to be kept on the boat. I didn't want anybody to see us moving Altarians on shore.
Sure.
And I would send a letter to say to kind of have them brought to my quarters. Maybe not my quarters, but maybe a room in the hull of the ship.
So regarding letters, if you look outside your backyard, there's
I know
water.
that's right there, but
Yeah.
right. But he's going to take some time for himself to kind of, see to his throat and kind of think what he's going to do. But my intentions for today is maybe to go and just see the prisoners and size them up. Maybe try and intimidate them by just being present and being steely. See if I can get them to talk just by my sheer presence. I don't want to let them know that I want information from them. I kind of want to unnerve them.
Okay.
Like you're trying to make someone feel uncomfortable.
Sure. Your main message person, Sal, he kind of looks to you and he says, I know you got in late last night, but are you aware of the current state of affairs in the town?
No.
Yes, it would seem that the guard has taken to the streets in full. They have the northern bridge, the Nadrasi, blocked off entirely. Seems that there's also a massive entourage of guardsmen outside of the keep as well. Do you know what that is about? And if not, would you like me to get more information about that?
Yes.
I will go and get your salve as quickly as possible. I will rather have Kirk do it. And then I will go and get as much information as I can about the current state of affairs here in Kusari my Lord Alfred. And he steps out, back to the tower. The two of you enter into the tower proper, and I'm assuming you're talking along the way?
I'm listening.
Not you.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
The other cool kids.
So I wasn't wanting to go anywhere. I was wanting to hang out and get my throat feeling better before I start talking.
You're hanging out. You are hanging out. I'm sorry. I segued away from you. I'm back to the two elves.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Sorry.
You're okay.
What is going on, Cyril?
It seems as if it was quite a busy night. And then Cyril would fill in, as the guards are carrying back the armor, would fill in about the battle that took place on Alvin, and using Alvin's yacht, and the aftermath of that, and then say that Lady Alcantara apparently was attacked on the bridge. And this is the armor that was the remainder of that attack.
And
I hope that you had a quiet evening.
My friend, did not. And then what I would do is I would explain like how I was attacked, but I won't do it now because it'd be like a lot of words. But I would point out to everybody that's watching, or that just to remind you, it was a drow who attacked me, and it was somebody. Then it was two assassins. So
yes, to remember that, Tim, a drow and two assassins.
But the drow could have been hired by anybody, but and I don't remember getting any sort of particular nationality off of them. I could just tell that it was a drow.
And a real quick note too. So drow elves.
Wait, we can't hear you, John.
Oh. And a real quick note too, just to make sure people watching at home and also the group are aware of the differences between drow elves in this campaign setting versus in other campaign settings. In other campaign settings, drow are immediately evil and bad. They're the worst. And right, not the case. Drow are one of the many subraces of elves, and they typically do reside underground. So in that they have a similarity, and they do worship a spider goddess rather, but it's not a demon like Lolth. The goddess they worship is named Makema. Makema is the Dreamweaver. And most elves trance into the Feywild when they trance and basically reside there. They do not dream. Drow elves trance into the Dreamweaver's realm, the plane of dreams, and they reside there. So their trance is slightly different than an elf's in that they can dream. And most drow societies, what they try to do is reshape the nature of Makema's realm so that it fits with what their desires are. And then when they trance into that, they trance into it for not just the normal time. They try and maintain ritual sections where their entire society is tranced into that dream state and basically living outside of the material world and in the dream world where everything to them is much better than it would be in the main world. And the reason why they do that is because even elves who do live in the Feywild are attached to the material plane due to things that happened long ago. And that binding basically creates kind of like a lesserness in the Feyhood of their they're not as close to the Feywild as they would be if they were the Fey before that transition happened. And so what the Drow elves want to do is recapture that state before they were forced into the material plane and made mortal. And so that's what they do. They enter into the dream state, and as their bodies decay and fall apart, they remain there. And so that's what most Drow try to do. Because of their association with the night and dreams, some of them will kind of eke out into the world and basically kind of become either trackers, hunters, assassins, if they get out of the Drow enclaves at all. But again, there's every kind of type of Drow, and of course, there's no limitation as to like what they would be. But yeah, they typically will try and, on the most part, enter into those dream enclaves where they're trying to regain the past glory of the Fey people. They're not evil. This one just happened to be an assassin.
This one in particular was so. And I'm going to explain to Cyril. I'll say, Cyril, I really wanted to do an investigation, but I was being harried by another assassin, so I had to get out of there. But so I have limited information. But now you know.
Do you think that this attack might be connected with anything going on in town? Or could it be some sort of personal vendetta?
Oh,
Have you made enemies, Leaf?
Everybody loves Leaf and my beautiful songs and performances. So I cannot imagine anybody being personally attacking me. I think it was because they know that I am friends with, Lady Alcantara and you, and that is why I think this happened. But also, I have some other information. So store that aside in your mind for thinking on. I have some other information. Before this attack by the assassins, I happened to split off from Halo for a little bit, during our trip to the capital, and I went and saw an old friend of mine, a person I'd gone on tour with for playing different gigs and stuff for musically and for dance, and his name was Yakumo. And he is a great bard. You have probably heard of him. Now, would you have heard of him?
It's entirely up to him, remember.
Sure, I've heard of Yakumo.
Sure, you've heard of Yakumo.
He's a really famous bard.
Yes, very famous.
Was that a jab at Kevin?
They make him more jealous.
It was, but
Make you jealous.
I was going to say, Yakumo's okay.
All bards
There
know each
are
other.
better.
There are betters, yes. It's no Zelbor, but
There's no Zelbor, right? Well, who can be, right? Even Zelbor's not Zelbor.
But let me tell you what he told me. And let me preface this with, you may not know, but bards travel a lot, and they are usually very well liked. So they end up hearing lots of rumors and gossip, and it's good to just pay attention to some of this. And I believe Yakumo is a very reliable source. So this is what he told me. He heard rumors when he was in old Alteria that the aristocracy was goading the imperial house to make a play for the Rended Isle. Yes, I say to make a play for the Rended Isle. And rumor has it that a power source resides within the city of Graukula, besides the gates to the Feywild. It is believed that by many outside of the Rended Isle, that the true power of the elves isn't held by the Sidriel court or the elected war queen in times of war, but is actually held by a dragon. and it is supposed to be a rainbow dragon that sits on an ord of that's horde for you, an ord of Riddick in the art that's heart of the
It's okay, Kevin.
oldest.
Most of us,
You don't have to do the translations for us.
most
Guys,
of us
the
speak French.
It's
translation. I'll make
almost
sure
more
you
fun if you don't.
understand.
No, no,
Okay,
Yeah,
no.
we speak
the
French. Don't
oldest
worry.
tree in the city. Yakumo says it's nonsense, though, but I'm not so sure. I think some of it, you never know. But the desire to destroy the elves and gain the powers of the Rended Isle, Archland, whatever the source may be, appears to be in the forefront of the Alterian politics. So we kind of already knew all that, but I thought I should tell you. Maybe you could tell Lady Alcantara for me, and then I can, then I won't have to go tell her myself.
Great. So that's a lot out of character. That's a lot of really important information, Kevin. So I hope that you post that in chat, in
I will-
character, just so
I
we
will
can all
do
have
that.
that. Okay.
I'll cut it and paste it. It was something that was given to me like 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago by
perfect,
John,
perfect.
and then I figured I would tell you then, but then we got canceled. But so I will.
Hey,
I'll post
now.
it for everybody. I'm not saying it's anybody's
Hey
fault.
now, hey now.
So
Hey, now you're an all-star.
No, come on. I don't want to get tagged.
all
No,
right.
we're gonna get tagged.
Stop. So Cyril would say to Leaf, that is really interesting information, and I'm sure Lady Alcontra would want to know that, but I'm also pretty sure that Alvin might want to know this. Maybe as Alcontra is recuperating from her battle, we can go see Alvin and tell him of this immediately.
Yes, absolutely. These are terrible times. I have never been attacked by an assassin, let alone two before. So these are definitely. And then Lady Alcantara. Oh, don't even tell me. I won't even say what I think about this. It's horrible.
So
Nice.
Cyril would instruct the guards to bring the sword and the armor to his tower and message Arave to ask her to set them up, and then he would want to go with Leaf to Alvin.
Okay.
He would think this is important enough based on what happened last time.
Meanwhile, Alvin, you're kind of like just trying to keep it calm and not kind of breathe ash for the first time in a long time, all evening. The rest was definitely a weird one. But you hear the door open, and you expect to see your attendant Sal kind of enter in with the salve you requested, but are startled as you see instead the person that is entering in to speak with you is one of the one of your equals. It would be oh my god, my notes are right here, and I have it. I have the name of the guy. It's the elf.
It's Yakumo.
No.
It's right in my notes. It is not Cobble Mug.
I mean, I have it.
Aramis, right? Aramis. As he's walking in, he kind of tosses you a what appears to be kind of like a small water skin. Just kind of tosses it to you.
I'll uncork it and smell.
Drink.
It smell foul.
It's.
I mean, I'm gonna drink it.
It smells pretty bad, but it smells like it smells like the ass end of a cactus that's been dragged through shampoo.
Sweet. I'll take a swig and gargle it.
Yeah, it definitely burns at first, but then you kind of feel this weird kind of mellow kind of like almost menthol like kind of tingle in your throat. And he says,
Unfortunately, after that, you die.
and then you die. Aramis says, I hope that helps you talk. Sal said you had some problems. What did you do?
Well, we attacked a Alterian scouting party. A couple of quick cutters. The shore of the Silver Isle. They had ransacked the town. And take another swig.
Well, as you're drinking, he says, well, no, I mean, more specifically, your man was asking questions around my marketplace and was specifically asking for information regarding why the guards are up and about. And I also don't know why that's the case, and I was wondering, what did you do that would cause a situation like that? But you mean to tell me, on your father's honor, that you're not responsible for Alcantara cloistering herself in the keep?
I know nothing of it.
I hope that we are able to get an audience with her. I would very much like to know why there's a raise of alarm in this place. If it is true what I know, and that the dwarves have been moving across the bridge on the northern half of it, then I would like to know if my fears are substantiated. There are a lot of innocent people in this town, Alvin.
Are we going to start moving them to the settlement?
We are, but it has only been a day or two since we were given the opportunity to begin that movement. Regardless, if you swear on your father's honor that it was not you that was responsible for this raising of arms, then I will grant that as honest truth.
Have I ever been dishonest with you?
No, you haven't. But you did leave in the middle of the day yesterday and didn't arrive until late in the evening last night. So I do know you to be, well, young and sometimes a bit impulsive. Not uncalculating, but again, even outside of the board, sometimes things can go foul. Even inside of the scope of the board, you can see something happen that's unpredictable. It's good to know everything in the confines of that board, but I hope you grant that the board we're playing on here is much more vast. A lot less scope. Regardless, I will speak to Balthar. I will inform him that there's nothing to worry about here. If you would be so kind as to attempt to get us an audience, or if not us, then at least you. I do understand that you were traveling on that pleasure cruise with the lady's advisor.
You know much.
You know I know much. I always know much. If you can speak to him and perhaps get an avenue in that way, that would suffice.
How soon do you want this council? I have other matters that preoccupy me at the moment.
As soon as you can make it warranted. And I will let you know that the salt that you are drinking will be continued to be brought in. It is a mixture of Alterian root, Akaskari cactus, and moon milk. I have a pretty large batch of it, and we will send over about 3 or 4 more containers for you, if that is your pleasure.
I will speak with Cyril. Thank you.
I'm asking, do you like the drink?
No!
Is it working?
Yes.
We'll send him more. He smiles, crosses his arms, and walks out very flowingly. And you can see Sal kind of hiding in the wings, kind of looking in, like he wants to know if you still need him.
I mean, I don't want him to feel like he's wasted his time. If he's already retrieved something or done something for me, I'd be most gracious.
Yeah, if you like just acknowledge him, and
yeah,
that's fine. But yeah, he doesn't really change, or he didn't really do anything outside of what you asked him to do. He went fishing around for information. That's what he got. He got Aramis to come directly, and yeah, he starts to exit out. You all approach Elford Manor, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Leaf, would you do that?
Yep.
A
Okay.
very large individual is standing outside the door, kind of on the porch area. He kind of looks at you, his arms crossed. You're the mage of the town, yet?
That's right. I'm Cyril. I have an important message for... Is his title Sir Alvin? What is his title? The mayor?
He's not the mayor.
What is his title?
No.
He doesn't really have one. Like,
Okay,
he's
for
just a merchant.
for Master Alvin.
He's Alvin.
Merchant Lord.
For the Merchant Lord.
Merchant Lord.
There we go.
He's not seeing
Thank you.
any guests right now. He's currently really resting and relaxing. And as he's saying that, the door opens up behind him, and another attendant kind of steps out, and he kind of looks at the larger individual. I'm sorry. He'll see you now. And looks at the larger gentleman who kind of. And Sal leads you to in Cyril, right?
And this is my friend Leaf.
Yeah, I believe they were just talking about you. It opens the door. I know you didn't want to be bothered, my lord, but Master Cyril, the advisor of Lady Alcantara, is here to speak with you, with a guest.
Timing is impeccable.
Well met, Alvin. I hope you're recovering from your injuries.
He would have hid his injuries from you guys as much as possible.
Well, you were in the mix of things. I was more on the outskirts. So.
Easy way to handle this. Go ahead and make a deception check, Dan.
Let's do it.
And Andy, go ahead and give me a
Perception?
Insight.
Insight. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna get it.
I
Yes.
think I got it.
So you definitely made efforts to hide your affliction, but it seems that he called them out here in this open space. You can see Sal kind of like this is bad, but
I think this is not the first time that I've
As
been
I'm
able to
saying,
forthright to
implying
Alvin.
what ailments, I cough up some old, dry, brown sputum.
Nice. And in any case, I hope you are feeling better after our adventure. But my friend Leaf here has some news that I think you'll find extremely concerning, especially considering what happened recently.
Grand. More concerning news.
I know, right?
Thank you, Cyril.
wait.
So,
More concerning news. And then as Leaf is about to start talking, it kind of goes into that like drowning like background sound of him telling you the bad stuff, and you're looking down at the desk, and like the camera just kind of zooms in on the blob of just like your throat still on the paper.
and it starts to move.
Oh yeah,
Stranger Things.
it was a schism the whole time. No, sorry. Go ahead.
So, what I would say is, did you hear? I don't want to overstep my bounds, Cyril, but Alvin, did you hear about Lady Alcantara?
No, but the town's been abuzz with concerns.
Maybe you should tell him about that first, Cyril, since I think that is much more important than the little measly things I deal with.
This is the problem with being like the leader, is that you're also the center of gossip.
You're the center of
They're
everything.
either all wanting to come talk to you, or they're all talking about you.
Yeah, we're talking about you,
And
Matt.
Sarah would actually say,
Yeah.
thank you for that, Leaf, but I will just say, Alvin, that Alcantara was attacked last night. She is okay, although some of her retinue did not fare so well. But let's set that aside, because I really do want you to hear about this Alterian connection that Leaf will mention to you.
All right. Yes, I will mention that. First, I also was attempted assassination by two assailants. One of them was a drow, and I don't remember what the other one was. I mean,
Elf.
Kevin doesn't, but I'm sure.
Just an elf.
I'm sure Leaf does. Oh, it was just an elf.
Yeah.
So, and I could not tell what country they were from.
Where were you assaulted?
In Gracula, in a dark corridor, a dark, alleyway.
Cyril, do you think it would be... Did you attack anyone? Did you fight back? Was there...
I did fight back. It was all in self-defense, I would say, but I had to dispatch one of them. He will no longer. It actually wasn't the drow, was it? It was the other person.
Correct. The drow was the one
I-
that gained on you.
Tell me exactly what happened.
What exactly? Okay, I would tell him exactly what happened.
Real quick, yeah. So what I'm assuming, and just so I don't have to hear him ruffle through this conversation in his accent again. I know Andy was trying to force him to do it because he's like, this is going to be hilarious. So, do you hold any information back Leaf, or do you tell him
No.
the whole block? Okay, so
I would tell them the whole thing I said before, which I happened to. I would tell the people here that I posted that on general, the general spot. I know after I posted it, I remembered. I think Andy said posted in character, but it's too late now. I already posted it on the other one. So if you look on the general chat, it's basically a paragraph about basically what I learned about the connection between the Alterians, it possibly wanting to, take over the Rended Isle, or so you should read that if you could. Hey, Tim's back.
so
Awesome.
good deal. While you,
Damn!
Dan, do you need a second to read?
No, I was listening intently. I just wanted to role play that I know what happened, and
Yeah.
what I would press you in, Leaf, is to maybe contact the guard or anybody to see if they found any dead bodies, and perhaps let them know that you were assaulted on the street and they attempted the life of the great Leaf. That would be a loss for the people.
Just as
Would
you're,
that not warrant investigation?
just as you're interjecting that statement, you had noticed that kind of somewhere at the beginning of that conversation, Sal kind of moved away, and it took about 5 or so minutes for him to blather out like all the details. Again, blather's a bad word. Just get out all the details. But then Sal returns into the room and kind of interjects, and he says, "My lord, Alfred, Lady Alcontra's man is here to speak with you, and only you."
That he can wait a
Well-
moment. I'm speaking.
Hold on, John. I was sending them to summon them, not to speak with them.
No. Yeah,
Or-
I know.
Oh,
Again,
okay, gotcha.
You can wait a moment.
I read.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind. see
I
what
would
you mean.
glean to Leaf and Cyril that I value their time as well, and I'm not about to just dismiss them, even though because they've come to see me.
Of course, I will try and hold the guard at bay. Of course. And you see Sal kind of whoop, disappear back outside.
He shakes his head. Interruptions. Cyril, I need a favor of you. Nothing serious. Aramis and Cobblemug wish to have counsel with the lady at some time. Is it possible I could have them send you a letter and you guys could convene at a time? They have matters of state. They're concerned about matters of state and the safety of the Nadrasi Bridge, and furthermore, north of the Nadrasi Bridge. I think they wish to discuss logistics of evacuating innocent and civilian lives.
So, Dan, out of character, who are these people? Aramis and
They're
Couplement?
the other merchant lords.
Okay.
Okay, real quick, just make sure we get this out and note takers get on board. So, of the merchant lords, Alvin Aylford is the youngest. Whoa, what is that?
Wind tunnel.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Oh, that was real
Sorry about
weird. Okay, so Alvin Aylford is the youngest. He's the only human of the three. He is technically the Sea Lord. He deals with all incoming trade and outgoing trade that is handled through the ports. Then there is Aramis, whose last name is escaping me. Dan, do you have it?
My notes.
Yeah, I didn't want to check my own because I'm lazy.
Tiebrush.
Right.
Tiebreach.
Tybreach. That's right, Tybreach.
Big inspiration.
You can have it,
Yeah, baby.
even though you fished for it. All out this time. But yeah, Aramis
Note
Tybreach.
taking is valuable.
Aramis Tybreach is the landlord. The landed lord is what he's called. And he deals with the farmlands and basically the peasantry. He is also the official mayor of Kasari Yanwi. So technically he is the only of the three who actually has an official title and placement. And the third of the three kings, or the third of the merchant lords of Kasari Yanwi, is Balthar Cobblemug. Cobblemug deals with the incoming trade from the south and from the north. That's handled via bridge and road. And he is sometimes called the Lord of the Bridge, but he's also sometimes called the Lord of the Tower. And the reason why he's called the Lord of the Tower is because Balthar's Manse is a massive tower just across the way, not too far from the temple. Balthar's a dwarf, but he is a renegade dwarf. It is presumed by many that he was once a lord in the Ballenroth kingdom, but it is known that assassins have come for him in the decades he's lived here. He has been in the city, or in the town rather, since its inception. So he was there for the fall. He's been there for pretty much all of the stuff that's happened in the, well, not, yeah, in the long life of it. Because we're what, a couple hundred years? I forget how old the city, or how old the town is. It's not super old.
I think 117 years, 120 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, John, but did you say what race the Aramis was? Is he an elf?
Elf, super high elf, yep.
Oh man, he's super high. Cool.
He's so high.
And just for the record, Balthar is the coolest of the merchant lords.
If that's your opinion, yeah.
Wait a second. I thought that Halo was Zach's character.
Super high, I get you.
Super
No.
high.
No.
So, Cyril would say, yes, absolutely. I would be happy to discuss a meeting with Lady Alcontra. This seems like an incredibly important time to have that meeting. Alterians, dwarves, and then it seems like this attack on Leaf by elves. This is a bad thing. Bad things are happening in town.
As you're kind of getting that through, Sal comes back in and says, "My lord, I apologize. I tried to keep him at bay. He says that he's the captain of the watch, and he says that he demands your presence with him immediately."
Gentlemen,
Perhaps you can discuss this meeting with Lady Alcontra yourself.
I would nod to them and ask them to leave my chambers for a moment.
As you're leaving, you can see that Sal's rushed out to speak to the other individual. The other individual looks to Cyril and says, "Master Cyril, you're presumed to be at the tower. You are needed as well. Please," and points to the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once he,
Leaf until we meet again.
once he has the two of you present, he kind of shuts the door behind him and he
I
says,
do.
"Lady Alcontra wishes to speak to you two, and only you two, specifically. I was sent out to request your presence therein. A runner was also sent to your tower, but as you were found here, I presume he is being sent back home empty-handed. That is all.
We'll be off. Would you like to join us? Are you
No.
heading back to the city?
No, I will be returning back to the barracks."
Fair
So
enough.
I've been moving my token around the map because I think it's pretty fun to do that.
That's fine. Keep on it.
So we're gonna go to.
Leaf would still be in the vicinity, right? As we step out of my.
Yeah.
Would Leaf still?
Yep.
Leaf, could I bother you to entertain my men with some merriment? They've had a hard few days. They've worked very diligently, and I wish to give them some merriment. You, of course, would be reimbursed for your time.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I, cannot turn away such a generous patron. And I would love to bring some joy and merriment to hardworking men and women. And so then that's what I would do.
Okay.
Man.
You head that way, and then Alvin and Cyril head northwards. This Zerphos guy heads to the barracks, handled. Cut back to the Monster Hunters Guild. You spent the entire morning basically interjecting the matters you've discussed, speaking to your associates, and basically the mood here is pretty somber. It's not a good day for the Monster Hunters Guild. You have been kind of spending a lot of time in your room, resting off the wounds, and just frustrated. It's been a weird one. But the hour's growing. The sun is definitely making its way up into the heavens. What would you like to do at this point?
As the sun's rising, I'm sharing we're preparations coming down. I just probably wearing one. I'm sporting winter probably due to the solemn nature as well, and being bandaged up top. I'm probably just wearing like a loose fitting shirt so as not to disturb them too much. and I just sort of hobble down the stairs just to be present in the guild hall, to just watch what's going on, and just to be present, basically. Like, it's in a sense boring, but like it just that's what we're happening. Like, tonight we're gonna get drunk. We're gonna, we're getting out our mourning right now and our grief to then celebrate the lives and the adventures of the fallen.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to open the door for the cat. 1 second. Just a second.
Oh my gosh, I think John is gonna have a bunch of assassins kill us all. Oh wait, don't say that.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I would actually have, if Fenfear was done a task, I might have him go out to try and find Leaf. To him as well, I mean, he's probably going to be booked, but to see if he would want to come and at least play some tunes during the...
It sounds like we know what Kevin's position in this whole thing is. As you
I am merely entertainment.
As you send Fenfear, who's also just kind of like, like, I knew those guys. I mean, Bacchus and Lulin, like, we don't even know really what happened with them, other than they died trying to defend the lady. That's what they said when they brought the bodies back. Well, they didn't even bring their bodies back. They told us where to go get them. We spent most of the morning going and get them. And he just totally, like, in a not a good state. You're standing kind of in the middle of the main foyer to the guild hall. Doors kind of open. It's a nice sunny, early morning there. And as you're kind of staring out into the wilds there, you see a very large kind of purple glow kind of in the center of the guard barracks. It then detonates again. 3 total times. Cyril and Leaf, you would probably be passing the Tower of Lore at this point, and you would kind of not see the first one, but kind of get a vibe for it. Turn and look back, and then see the second 2 detonations. And Alvin, I'm sorry, not Cyril and Leaf, sorry. Cyril and Alvin. It's usually Cyril and Leaf, I'm sorry. But Leaf, you would see nothing of this being kind of hanging out at the docks.
Now, where does this happen?
Guard barracks.
The guard barracks, okay.
Happen often.
I think this is something that has never happened before.
You've seen it happen once before.
Okay.
Do I have any recollection of what it might signify?
You have never seen it, sorry, Dan. Because you've never seen the Twilight Knights arrive, or any other of the party members arrive through the gates from Gorkulia. Proximity-wise, this is the first time you've ever kind of been close to it when it happens.
I think out of a sense of wanting to make sure that nothing will disturb the wake, I'll kind of like grab something to serve as a cane or a walking stick and kind of hobble over to get a closer look at what's transpiring.
All right. As you kind of make your way into the courtyard there, the statue of the person who started the town, himself a Twilight Knight, nameless, forgotten, or possibly there on the placard for the statue, your call, you guys.
I can't believe you forgot the name of our most important founding member, Doug Funny.
Doug Funny, the Elvish Twilight Knight. So, as you're kind of making your way over in that direction, you can kind of see into the courtyard that it looks like somewhere around 50 or so individuals are kind of making their stance known, standing in formation, and you can see that they all wear the garb of Twilight Knight. You can also see that they appear to have a leader, and the leader is wearing armor the likes of which you have never seen. You have never seen a completely gold and yellow style armor such as this.
Gold and yellow?
Gold and yellow, correct.
The custodian?
I'm hesitant to approach, so I just sort of lean against the statue, and if they come towards my direction, I might call out, but for the time being, I just sort of stand and watch and wait. Because I feel like this is dealing with Authorita, and I'm just too beat up to have to deal with anything right
Fair.
now.
The as you're kind of sitting there, and it's just kind of like somebody walks over by the statue, and you recognize him from before. He's wearing a kind of straw hat, kind of walking up towards you and says, it was a Quothus, yes?" He smiles. "Any luck finding that turtle?"
No.
"Oh, no worries. I apologize. It looks like you're having a bad morning." And wanders off.
Like a Japanese kawaii girl.
No, he's not a kawaii girl. Don't you say that about Kenji. Anyways, if that's that, Cyril and Alvin, you see the boom, boom, boom. Do you continue to the keep, or do you stop to go figure out that?
So Cyril would know what it is, though, right?
Yeah, it's the teleportation circle activating.
Yeah, so he would actually hurry. He said we should get to Alcantara quickly, because I'm sure that she'll be she'll want to know of this.
All right. You are allowed past Cyril, and so is Alvin, and you make it into the keep. She is not in her common space. I believe you're still in your room, yes?
Correct.
The handmaiden will lead you to it and open the door for you, and she says nothing. She just lets you enter.
So at this point, I'm still slightly disheveled, still wearing yesterday's clothes, sitting at my desk, writing something.
I'm assuming this is the 15th draft, and you've got like dozens of pages just kind of ripped out and crunched up and tossed to the side.
There are some, but, yeah, I just sort of look up at them and say, "Good, so, I don't know if you've heard, but unfortunately Valesha didn't make it back yesterday. Not necessarily ideal, considering the current situation. Cyril, did you have a time to look over the armor and figure anything out from that?"
I did, and I describe the helmed horror, the golem construct, how it's created for a specific task with specific attributes and things like that.
Well, when you start getting to the created thing, I might just sort of, cut you off a little bit and be like, well, those details in terms of creation can wait, but at least we have some idea of what's happening. The difficult situation is, of course, we need to quickly replace Valesha. This is not necessarily a easy task. I was hoping not to have to consider this for quite some time. Unfortunately, I feel as though there are very few promising candidates, or any that are promising are either too old or too young.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alcantara. My apologies, but you need to know that the teleportation circle is activated, and it's very likely that we're going to be visited soon.
Well, we shall deal with that when that happens. That being said, I cannot necessarily appoint too prominent a person to be in charge, because that I feel like would seem slightly weak. That being said, I still think that the person best at strategy right now is probably Alvin. I do not wish to put you in charge, nor do I think that that would be sensible. There's already too much talk of the three kings ruling in this town. But would you at least be open to a advisorial position for the time being till we can find a better candidate?
Could give you counsel, but matters in trade are also I'd have too much on my plate, I fear, but I can be an advisor.
Yes, I do not wish you to hold the position. I do not wish you to be more than an advisor. I feel giving you that position would seem as though it were a takeover as opposed to a promotion.
Correct. You always have my counsel.
Yes. So, for the time being,
What
Did I
quality
find out?
are you looking for your
Sorry,
man?
real quick, cutscene.
Yeah.
Apologies. You're sitting there, Ulair, kind of watching. Kenji strolls by, and then you're kind of standing there, and you watch as the Twilight Knights turn in formation in unison and start marching out of the northern exit of the barracks. It appears that they are heading out and around the road to head towards the Nadrasi Bridge. You then watch as a splinter cell of the 50, 10 of them kind of break off from the other 40 and head southbound. And you see the gold armored knight with those 10 continuing on that way. Based on their movements, the presumption is that they are heading towards the keep.
Would they be within like not like a shout, but just like hello stranger, what brings you here?
Yeah, they would. Do you give one of those kind of deals?
Like, uh, it's like yeah, like kind of along those lines. The ideas I'm trying to convey, like being respectful, but also like trying to fish for information,
Like a
cause
trained military, they continue on, not paying attention to you and focusing on the task.
and
Are there any open windows in this chamber?
I hobble back to the Monster Hunters Guild and seat and ask for a stiff.
I presume that Lady Alcantra's bedroom in the keep is probably towards the back end, close to the Cherry Blossom Grove, not too far from her
Yeah.
father's side house. I presume also that it is very open a space. I doubt there are a lot of windows, probably a lot of easily kind of open, eerie kind of areas for her to take flight if she so desired. Um, Again, that's up to Matt, though. Are there windows? Are there? You're not able to see the front of the keep from your place, probably. But
There would be like some windows, but for the time being, due to both a mixture of bad move and not wishing to be overheard, they are mostly shuttered and closed. So any sight to the outside would probably be
blocked.
blocked off.
So armored suits can't just drop in you Iron Man style. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Smart
Well,
stuff.
more just so like no one necessarily is sitting outside my window being sad, but
Right.
the Iron Man suits would be bad too.
That would be real bad. Ulair, do you follow the 10 and the 1, or do you concern yourself with the 40?
I thought he just said he went back to get a drink.
Did he say that? I didn't. I missed
I
that.
did because it was like if them completely ignoring me, it's again in my head like I am probably still very sore and kind of in constant pain from.
Do you go to the hall, or do you go to the tavern?
You know what? Trusting my subordinates, maybe I'll go to the tavern because they'll probably have more drink and maybe I might hear some.
Leaf, you couldn't find much of a space on the ports that was really very acoustically good, and you also didn't feel like the spirits were really going to be gotten up when they were that close to the source of their work. So you dragged the people that are members of the yacht club, people who drive Elfward's boat, and you took them to the tavern nearby, which is known as Balthar's Gavel. You enter in and begin playing music for them. The barkeep is it's really early, but this is an elven city, so there's usually someone up anyway, as elves don't really sleep. And so there are barkeeps and servers who are attentive to your needs. And as you are basically, as you've taken over the morning floor and have a nice kind of lively rapport going with these sailors, in walks Ule.
Okay, just so people know, when Leaf does his performances and stuff, and if he's trying to especially if it's somebody that's a patron of his, he is going to get up and dance with people to get them dancing and jumping around. So it's kind of a really interactive sort of thing. Plus, because he likes Alvin, he is going to cast Enhance ability, and so he gets advantage when he does his roll for his performance. So like I'm gonna get a nat 20. I could feel it tonight.
Roll it.
These guys are gonna be like, I'm gonna be the best bard
Roll
ever. These guys,
performance.
I'm certainly hoping that. Let's do this. Come on, man. Come on. All right, performance. Let's see what I get. Well, 23. That's not bad.
Not
That's
bad.
not a nat 20.
I'll be honest.
But it's a 15 plus 8.
The jerk of a DM in me was
That's
hoping for
like-
double ones.
Yeah, that would have been great. But so far, I'm undefeated with my performances here.
Pretty solid stuff. Yeah.
So-
Again, Larry, you're just as you're kind of approaching, you can hear it, and you're like, yeah. And then you like get in there, and you see Leaf, and he's like, getting everybody. There's like raucous kind of like singing along. The song appears to be in honor of Lord Aelford. Sounds like a newer song.
Yes.
It's the same song.
It's the same song.
And,
That's just what I start out with, but then I go into some other old favorites and I take requests and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
But
what you gotta do.
yeah, it seems like it's a lot livelier than you were anticipating. Excuse me. Ooh, that's a yawn. Apologies. Yeah, the barkeep is at the bar serving drinks, and it does seem that there are also servers present, kind of serving food and drinks out at the tables. I'd say there's probably a good 15 or so individuals, including Leaf, having a great time.
Just kind of like it being a stark contrast to kind of like the mood I'm in today. But like it's not in an attempt to not sour the mood at all. I just sort of ask like a passing server just for, can I get one of your stiffer drinks? And then I seek to find like just a more isolated corner, like an open spot where I can just sort of sit back and watch and just kind of like
Fair.
listen and observe.
Presenting Winter then.
Yes.
They place the drink in front of you and give you a nod. Yeah, if you head over, they also, before you go, they say, if you're needing a private room, there's one there if you want. No one's using it.
I think I'll see what. Perhaps some revel making might be good for my spirits. I don't know.
It's good for everyone's spirits. Lighten your mood. Leaf's on a point today.
It's good to hear.
All right.
It's good to hear.
Leaf, you definitely see Ulair kind of mosey on to wherever he's sitting with his beverage. Ulair, do you take a sip?
Oh yeah, I take a sip.
Yep, you've been served Balthar's finest, which is also known as the Cobble Mug Brew, also known as the cobbler and hobbler of even the stoutest of dwarfs. And you kind of go, oh, taking that first sip is like, oh boy, oh that's a 15%er right there. That's what that is. Yeah, it's got a lot of bite to it, but it's got a good flavor.
Nice.
But yeah, Leaf, do you interact with Ulair in any way in your revelry, or just maintain what you're currently pushing?
Leaf would he respects the melancholy of some of his people who are watching him, but maybe during a set break, because you get more than one set when you hire Leaf during a set break.
You get
he
the
might
full
come by
jam.
and ask if you're all right, because you're his friend, right? He'd be like, Kotas, Ulair, my friend, how are you doing?
Been better.
Were you injured in that battle I heard about? Cyril and Alvin, I heard, had a big battle, and I heard there were lots of injuries. And were you injured, my friend?
Kind of like smiling as he kind of looks to like bandages probably showing from underneath his shirt. He's like, yeah, I almost faded from this world, but the bright star decided to keep my light alive.
Oh, and praise her for that, or would the bright star be her? It doesn't matter. Praise her for that. And then I'd say, would you like a little healing? Healing? I have that ability. I am a magic type person. I throw these around with my songs and my performances. Some people say it's magic, even though it really isn't. But I do have magic.
You definitely got the magic in you, I believe. John, from how I'm feeling, and this is kind of like, would I think that magical healing would potentially help heal my current wounds, or is it kind of just like a slow process?
Yeah, if you're scarred, your scars are permanent. Those aren't going to go away.
Right.
So yeah, if it's just damage, you probably rested that off. To be honest.
Okay, so I'm at full vitality now.
Yeah. No, vitality, no, and
Right.
magical healing won't help. Sorry, your vitality is still boned.
You
Okay.
have to do 10 hit points to. We have to be at max hit points, and then you have to do 10 hit points to heal 1 vitality. So it's not very efficient for sure, right?
Right.
Also, I think it was more like your soul was needed like help being healed, and I think it has been healed with this performance.
Well,
You know? I think so, man.
I think the wounds I carry, time might be the most effective healer, but
Oh my god, wait. So it's like, I think your wounds are healed, man. Woo! And then it's like, stop and kind of look at him. And then he's like, well, It's like Ruby Rod and Bruce Willis. It's like, what do you think about that, man? And then he's like,
that is okay, my melancholy friend. But you be you. But if you sit where you are, actually, maybe the other side is slightly better acoustics, and you can really feel it in your chest. I'll get my bass out.
Leaf,
get it
if
in
you,
your chest.
well, it's we lost 4 of our hunters yesterday.
Oh, I am so sorry.
I don't know if you ever had the chance to meet Farron and his sister Winland, or Pacus and Leland, but they no longer here, and it's actually, I guess, fortunate I say, because we're going to be hosting a wake tonight, and if you would honor us with providing musical accompaniment, your services would be paid for, and I'd greatly appreciate it, friend.
Oh, don't even mention it. Of course, I will be there. I will just remember to save up some good ones for for after the funeral. People still need to be brought up from the depths of despair after a funeral. So I could do something similar to what we did at Elo's temple. That seemed very successful. So. I hate to hear about anybody dying. It is always a tragedy. Why can't people just play music and be happy and, make love, not war? That's what I always say.
It would definitely make the world a simpler place if that were the case.
imagine.
It's true. That is what I will play. A new song I heard about. They're from the Beatles. It's a small band from the wilderness. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, real quick interruption. Matt, give it to somebody.
Who doesn't have inspiration?
I don't think
I have it.
I don't.
Okay, Tim.
I do.
Yay!
Let's say that was basically Leaf's music that gave you the inspiration.
No, it was me.
It was Matt's music. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So, as you are having that conversation in El Contra's room, you come to that point where you were talking about Leaf, and I sideswiped to him, I think.
I actually wasn't talking about Leaf. I don't know where you got that from.
I think you were mentioning something about how cool Leaf is.
No, I was going to ask if I had, because I would have checked over some stuff, and I was wondering what the name of that guard who was the second in command.
Zervos.
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 Right. So what I was going to say was, for the time being, I may have to put Zervos in charge, but I do not wish to keep him in that position, nor does it seem as though he wishes to remain in that position.
As your counsel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, my lady. What exactly happened? I not yet gleaned the details of why the keep is under such. I mean, I understand an attack happened, but
Unfortunately, if there are people that came through the portal, I have more pressing matters to attend to before I go and start spreading around the gossip. And I turn to Cyril, and I have a piece of paper in my hand. Cyril, I've drafted a letter which I intend to send off to Lady Shale. Or, what's her name? Not Shale.
Aristotle?
Yes, Lady Aristotle. Thank you.
Shal or Shar is
Shal.
his name.
Yeah. If you take a look at the letter, basically what it says is it's talking about the Sliver Isle and how, for the time being, it seems as though it is potentially, from what you've said, it has been under attack, and I'm assuming that the leadership has been taken out in that town, and so basically I'm putting forth a proposal that, for the time being at least, that isle comes underneath our jurisdiction.
I mean, if there's a possibility to just very quickly get in what Leaf told us about what he learned, that old Arteria aristocracy was goading the Imperial House to make a play for the Rended Isle.
Well, that might work in our favor then. But yes, take a look over the letter. I am not necessarily in the greatest frame of mind, and so I do not wish to send something off that either seems as though I am being too overly boorish, or as though I am taking the situation too lightly, and I would like a second pair of eyes to make sure that anything I say in there is neither offensive or underselling anything.
Okay. So Cyril would look at the letter and not actually reading an actual letter. I really would have to just trust what she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, I can, like, the basic outline is what I said, like, since
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Super Isle is... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
If you really want, I could write something up.
No. So Cyril would support what you wrote. It sounds reasonable. Won't do a grammar check.
If you stand to exit, I'm assuming that's the case.
Unless she has us for other business.
Would make Lady Alcantara. The other lords wish to meet with you regarding logistics of the not refugees, but the civilians and possible threats north of the bridge. I spoke with Cyril. He said he would look through the logistics of the meeting, if that would please you.
I suppose it makes as much sense as anything. Hopefully we can get a better report of what is necessarily going on the Isle soon. I do intend to send people out to scout and give a report. Which is also me mentioning, John, that I am going to have, like, some people sent out
Sure.
to scout.
So as you two kind of make...
Well, Cyril would ask Lady Alcantara whether or not she wishes him to stay for the visit from the knights that came through the portal.
If you have no pressing matters.
Of course not.
You would know that you're, even though you were trying to be erudite in your report, would note that a more detailed study of the armor is probably in play. You basically were rattling off the very skim layer of the research that you've done, and at this moment, your attendant, Arabe, your student, is probably fucking around with that armor.
What happens if I do this? Oh my gosh, it's killing me!
So I'm just trying to prioritize, though, and it seems like
Well,
the people coming
again,
through the portal is more important than
your call.
Than gleaning deeper.
Your call.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you understand that
What?
there are other things you could be doing. I just want to make sure that that is on
Yeah,
the table.
also, John, really quickly, with the news of people coming, I'm going to basically kick them out of the room so I can take, like, a minute to
if they do step out, the
change.
first thing you'll see is Nancy is standing there, and she says, "Milady, you are wanted in the main throne room.
I got
Give me
you.
a minute.
I got
And
you
as I
later.
said, I'm going to change quickly and try to get looking not like I haven't
I got
slept for the
you.
past
I got
24
you.
hours.
I got you. I already got you. I start to disguise your weariness with makeup, and I start to actually take out blush and makeup. And oddly enough, I'm really fucking good at it. I
Make
just disguise your weary, and I already did roll a 25.
okay.
Crit.
Yeah, if you allow him to attend you, he actually attends
Why
you
not?
far better than any of your attendants ever have. He basically picks out a suitable gown, has you change, and then makes you up, and you look and feel refreshed. Like, whew. It's just,
Chess, mercantile, sailing, and makeup. How are you still single?
and it's a relatively quick
I'm
action,
shipping them.
and, and it's a relatively quick action, and you then make your way to the throne room. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
And Cyril, are you in attendance?
Yep.
All right. When you arrive, you see 10 Twilight Knights standing out in front of them, kind of in between the two middlemost of the 10. And before them is a knight adorned in gold armor. He has a sash over a white tabard. And along the sash, he has a number of different daggers. He appears to have. You look at his armor and realize that it is very special, not only because it's gold and shiny, but also because it appears that there are chest plate portions that make up a helmet's face. And you can see that there are parts on the back as well that make up the rest of the helmet. And you would know that the armor is reactive, which is a elvish trait for their super coolest of armors, which means it basically follows his command and his whim. And he can take it off and put it on in moments. It's super cool armor. And he looks to you and says, "You are Lady Alcantara." Hold on, sorry. I had this prepared and then we sidetracked. You are Lady Alcantara Abikia Relistrium Gale Shea, correct?
Yes.
My lady. And he places his hand on his chest and kind of bows, as do all the Twilight Knights behind him.
What brings you this way?
I am Lord Novinger Elendril. I have been sent here to serve at your pleasure.
I hope that you put that in chat somewhere.
Elvish name.
What? How do you spell that?
You were the ones that wanted to play in an Elvish island. You picked this island. You should have anticipated Elvish names. Novinger
Hey.
Elendril.
To be fair, this wasn't my first vote.
Fair enough. You're handling it marvelously.
Yeah, thanks.
I've been sent to serve at your pleasure.
I see. I'm assuming part of your retinue has already headed towards the Rended Isle.
Your wisdom precedes you. You are correct.
You should know that the other day I went myself over there with a small retinue and we encountered a dwarvish set of armor. I believe that you said it was a and this is my mind just being my actual real life mind being terrible.
Cyril, jump in. You know what it's called.
Well, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Oh my god, he's not even paying attention to this. This is super
It was
awesome
a helm
role-playing game.
Helm Torrent, there we go.
Horror.
I knew it was alliteration.
I was busy
The-
typing in chat.
A helmed horror.
Elendril says the guardsmen that received us at the teleportation circle were very paranoid upon our arrival. It appears that they have set up countermeasures around the portal, which is a wise move as well. They explained to me that the attack, the details of the attack that were available. They stated that you had elected an individual named. I'm sorry, his name escapes me, as the new captain of your watch, as your former captain was unfortunately laid low in this encounter.
For the time being, until he can, or a better replacement can be found.
He steps
He is.
He steps forward and he says, "Milady, I serve at your pleasure. I am a servant of the council, but for the time being, I have been gifted to you, along with my 50 knights. I can make shape of your guard in this time of trial, if it is your desire for me to do so."
That was a rather enthusiastic nod from Tim.
He likes them.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like they might level up our guards too while they're there.
Yeah. It is something that I shall take into consideration. I wish simply a day to survey my own troops.
Of course.
Just to.
I will inform you that I've been given orders besides the service at your pleasure, and I've already commenced with those activities. As you stated, I have made efforts to secure the Nidrasi Bridge. Your guardsmen have been relieved from that position. I've also made moves towards defending the keep more thoroughly. As you can see, my 10 guardsmen here have come with me, but there is no necessity for them to remain with me. I am more than capable of defending myself. These 10 guardsmen serve at your pleasure directly. Wherever your attendants, pointing to Cyril, or assistants might desire them to be placed in defense, they will serve. They have an instant communication with any other member of this company, these 10 specifically, and can very quickly send messages to one another. So you can place them wherever you would like in your town, and if they are needed to defend, they can very quickly migrate to the positions in which they are needed.
Well, that is very much appreciated. I'm assuming Alvin did not come with us, correct?
Yeah, he
What?
would.
I was with you.
He would be here if you didn't send him away.
He's not leaving.
I mean, I'm here at your disposal.
Yeah, I'm going to say he was here then, just to make things simpler. I have temporarily put Alvin Elfward in a position of counsel on strategy, as he is quite learned in this area, until we can find again a replacement for the captain.
So then I am to understand it that this individual, Alvin Elfward, and are you looking at him when you say that name?
I
Like
don't
referencing
look
him?
at him, I just sort of like indicate with my hand.
Are you to say that he is currently serving in the stead of captain of the guard, even though not officially in that capacity?
He's serving as advisor to the captain.
I will be more
For the
direct
time
and frank with my inquiry. Should I serve at his command and pleasure as if it were yours?
For the time being, yes.
Until such time you nominate me as the most capable individual to lead your guard, I will do as you command.
Wow, he has a high opinion of himself. That's me, the player, not.
I do
Oh,
not
God.
wish to impede in your duties. Just merely advise you. If there's anything to be done drastic, let me be aware, but you take action, please, if possible.
I apologize, and I do understand where we're meeting and how there is an abrasion. Let me be more curt with you so you understand directly what I am saying to you. I serve at your pleasure. Whatever you request of me, I will do. If you wish for me to defend this town to the best of my ability, I will do it. If you wish for me to serve and listened to, is it Master? Lord? Whatever title you have, Mr. Elford. I will do just that until such time you understand that I am the most capable individual to lead the guard and the militia herein.
Your presence, I can see that you're more than capable. I wish not to impede you in your duties. As the lady had said, I'm here merely as an advisor.
Very good. Then I will cede to. I apologize. What was his name again? The current captain,
Zerbos.
Ah, yes. I
Thank
will.
you.
I will yield to his declarations. If I have any problems with them, I will direct my issues therein with Master Elfward.
Most excellent. I do wish counsel of you sometime in the future regarding the Alterian capital, if you know much of that.
There was whispers from the War Queen regarding that matter. Everyone kind of goes, "What?" It's specifically on your side of the table, I would presume. He just said,
I'm going to try to keep as straight a face as I can. Just
"Okay, Cyril, are you concerned about what I just said, or do you understand the gravity of what he just said?"
Can you repeat what you just said?
He said there was some whispers of that from the War Queen. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Dan, are you
So
getting what I'm picking? Are you picking up
They're
what
done. They're done.
It's wartime. We've got a war queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And regarding that, I will, of course, cede to you any information, and I will exact my duties.
You might actually have a task for you at hand currently.
Well, then I will, of course, yield to you if Milady wishes it.
May I speak with you in private?
He looks to Lady Alcantara.
sorry, I missed that because it cut out for a second for me. What did you say, Dan?
Dan wants to speak to
Task for him.
Elendril and basically give him a task, and Elendril is now looking to you if that is what you desire.
Well, I wish to be present there, but beyond that,
I can have mine leave, and he gestures, and they all kind of, and then kind of exit the room in unison.
Wonderful. Of course, Cyril can be present. I would just want to make him aware of just kind of speed things up with the cutter ships. We took prisoners. I value his stern demeanor, and I wish him to assist me in interrogating the prisoners as he sees fit. I merely wish to be there to observe and perhaps interject questions. Good cop, bad cop.
Of course. You say you have a ship that you use to destroy. How much did you tell him about the cutter? That you use it to.
I can trust him.
Did you say that you use it to drop 3 Alterian ships?
Yeah, sure.
So you say you have a craft that is capable and very well armed, if I understand correctly. Is that accurate?
Only tools. The real value I see is in the men. I speak of flits and
The War
horse.
The War Queen sought it necessary to make sure that capable travel from you and yours was not the amount of travel that you had afforded to you at current was not the hindrance to your capabilities in your visibility of the scenario. I have been gifted a sky stone by the War Queen. I have it with me at the guard barracks. It can be employed and placed into your ship, and with a small amount of incantation, it could be utilized to make your craft skyborne. Is that something?
Wow.
okay. My question is,
You
does
have
he
a
do
sky
that
ship.
actually at the table?
He says that here. Like, yeah, that's literally if you are talking to him
That
still
is
on the
No, no,
throne.
no, no, no.
Coolest thing
I'm
ever.
asking if Dan, like his just
Does his
outburst of
character?
laughter there, does Element just do that at
Yeah.
the table?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he
Just gets him and starts going around. USA, USA.
You see the elf kind of taken aback by the show of emotion by the human, and he kind of goes, and kind of smiles like, that's quaint, like a puppy, like going, oh, yeah, a treat. He kind of goes, oh, yeah. They live for like 5 minutes. And then he says, we can have that started, but if you're keeping prisoners on the ship, perhaps we should deal with your, what did you say, good cop, bad cop scenario now, so we can clear the deck and the ship of these prisoners therein.
Wish to maybe take the prisoners to capital.
Which one am I?
Thoroughly met with.
Am I the good one or the bad one?
By looking at the demeanor of how,
Would say bad.
yeah,
The second
I was.
the second you acknowledge bad, you see him draw one of the daggers and start spiraling it in his fingers and then resheath it really fast. I think I can play this game.
Nice.
All right.
My lady, would you like to be in the presence of this, or would you?
I
to,
think I can trust you to
Okay.
Milady,
gather as much information.
as I'm sure your safety at current is probably in doubt, he slammed his foot down hard on the stone, and then you see the soldiers wander back in and position themselves kind of back in the same spot. And he says to you, these serve at your pleasure. Wherever you go, they go unless you do not wish it. They will continue to keep an eye on you to the best of their ability, and their communication with me is direct. If you need me and your associates here that are with me for any reason whatsoever, all you need to do is ask. Lord Alford, we
Maybe
go
off.
and struggle to be cool kids. We'll do that in a second. Cyril, do you remain with Alcantara, or do you head off to do something else?
At this point, unless Alcantara would like him to stay, he'd want to go and start his research on the armor.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'd also, as I said, remind you about taking a little bit of time outside of the studying to just glance over that and make any corrections that you see. I'm not expecting you to have done that in the time between me handing it to you and now.
Okay, sure. I would
Yeah.
take it with me then.
But he was very quick with the I have an answer to your questions, and you're like, oh. he was all knowledge there, wasn't he? Oh man, I've done that at work a lot. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Bullshit. Answers. I only know.
I
one.
gave him the right answer.
Fair enough. If that's what you believe, that's fine. It is a helmed horror, but there's definitely more that can be gleaned from that.
Well, I said to you that I think there's more, and I would say to her, I would like to research more deeply.
I believe in you. I've always had.
He handled it perfectly. That's the right answer.
Leaf and Ulair.
Yeah, I was going to say I cut in, or like I interrupted you anyway, Andy.
No worries. John likes to dump.
I do. I dump on everybody. It's the best fun. Speaking of dumping on people, Kevin and Tim, the most fun characters from last campaign. So the party's pretty raucous. Ulair, you kind of get to a point where you're at an impasse. You're either going to get drunk enough that you're not going to care about the rest of the day, or you're going to stop drinking and you're going to have to go be you're going to have to put on your boss pants and do the things you need to do. It does look like Leaf has satisfied the company he's with, specifically the crew of the cutter, and what would you like to do?
Yeah, if he's like satisfied, so it's kind of like he's kind of free to roam around, I would just in a passing remark, well, I'll see you later on then, Leif. I look forward to your services, and don't worry, I'll have your payment at the door. And then I head back to kind of help do any final directions that we need to at the Monster Hall.
Okay.
To get ready for the wake.
Timeline-wise, this would be about the same time that Alvin and Elendril are walking across the main courtyard, passing by the statue of the founder, and you would see them walking past you, heading towards Alvin's house, you presume. And Alvin, Dan, you're there. It doesn't look like you're there. Villainy.
I think the Necron's got him.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Okay, well, no Dan.
They probably just turned him into a loser.
That sucks. I'm just gonna...
He's probably not even listening to us right now, so
No.
we can't have fun.
No, we can make fun of him the
Oh,
whole
wait,
time.
he did hear us.
Did,
That'd be really
what, did you hear us talking to you while you're peeing?
Yes. That's
Okay, so...
Why?
Sorry, you would see Ulair crossing the courtyard heading towards the Monster Hunter Hall. As you're crossing the courtyard, the main
I would nod to him.
town circle. And as I said, Tim, he is traveling with the guy in gold armor.
The stranger. Greetings, Alvin. Who's our honored guest, it seems like, to be in such company?
You see him kind of stop and go, Nodalve, yes?
I
I have one of your skulls, Displacer Beast, on my wall. I fought one a long time ago, but unfortunately the corpse wasn't exactly something I was able to turn into a trophy due to the company I was keeping at the time. And fortunately, your services brought me a little bit of joy and memory. I try not to tell people that it's not the original, but I still have the lash marks on my back from the creature. I'm assuming you went without any such wounds?
at that moment, yes. Though it seems that fighting beasts versus fighting people are two very different art forms.
Well, I will...
And they kind of just look down at kind of my chest and torso.
he says, I will say this, I didn't fare too well against the Displacer Beast. But I don't think I've ever met a man who could best me in combat mortal. But you also serve as an advisor for Lady Alcantara, is that not wrong?
I guess. She asks me when she has questions and keeps me around when it's at her fancy.
Master Elfward, perhaps we should have him along for this interrogation, unless you have more pressing matters. Apologies.
We lost 4 of my hunters yesterday. 2 in our... Well, Alvin, I'm sure, can give you the details of that, and 2 protecting Lady Alcantara herself.
To make things simple, as we were traveling, I was telling him about the detail.
I do have an understanding of what happened, and I am sorry for your loss. As I understand it is the custom here. I hope the bright star guides them on into the afterlife.
Thank you. But, I'm sorry I could not be more help, but I have,
Of
those
course.
matters.
A somber time, to be sure. We will continue with our business. It was nice to meet you.
The pleasure was mine.
And then we go to the boat.
I would pat him on his shoulder and nod and
The one that's wounded. Ah!
no.
Why would you do this? I thought we were friends.
You see, a fresh blood wound start to, eke out through my bandages as you...
I didn't mean to do this.
I just give you, a painful smile as I, continue on my way.
So, that said, the
Also, John,
go ahead.
2-second segue. I would have said I think Sale is the scribe that I have, right?
I'm sorry, what?
My scribe it's Sela, right? I get mixed up between which ones.
Sele is your scribe, and then
Right.
the other one is
Eldrin.
Eldrin is the stable hand. The pictures
Yeah, so-
look wrong.
Yeah, I know. So Sela, I would have him basically go about starting to set up something in terms of getting the that meeting together that Alvin had mentioned in terms of trying to figure out what to do with the people.
Of course. Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So handled. Good deal. Master Elfward, you and Elandril enter onto the ship. As you're kind of making your way there, you would note that your crew is very lax at the yacht. It looks like there's only 2 people really around. One of them is the captain. who is kind of nursing his wounded pride more than his wounded wounds. And he looks to you and he says, "Ah, I am assuming you're going below to speak to our guests. And this one here is from the keep here."
Yes, Lord Novinger Elendril. I assume the prisoners have not been fed, correct?
"Oh, no, we have fed them, ma'am. Dry bread, nothing more." Elendril says, "You are the captain of this ship?" "I am that, yes." "Are you familiar with handling a sky helm?" "I have done so in my past, yes." "Are you from the capital?" Elendril says, "I am. We will be placing a sky stone on your ship. Look out for our individuals. They will be arriving within a few hours." He kind of looks over to you and says, "I love you. I love you so much.
So happy.
I'm so glad. Everything that happened on the island, it was bad, but it turned out okay. I'm going to fly again." You descend down into the hold. So there is no like bars or anything. You didn't have like cells to put them in. Instead, what you did, what your group did, is in kind of like the lower portions, you took hammocks and basically strapped them to the walls and tied them basically binding style to the walls. There were 2 prisoners, and both were soldiers. The soldiery were gathered. As the wizard, in a final act of desperation, fireballed himself to death. That said,
Remember that.
the 2 guards are kind of, ugh. And one of them kind of looks to you like, "Oh, I'm guessing this is where we get talked to." The other one says, "Yep, undoubtedly so." Eladril says, "Do we need to?"
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you guys were found ransacking a town. You didn't assume you'd have to answer for what you were doing?
"Yeah, that's fine. Yep, you got us. You got us busted. Ransacking a town." Mm-hmm. As he's like mouthing off to you, you see like a flash of steel, and like one of the daggers goes flying past you and slams into the wall next to that guy's head, like literally touching his ear. And Elendril said, "You were found doing what exactly?" The other one says, "Don't speak. Do not speak." And then in a language you both, or you don't seem to know, he says something back. And Elendril kind of walks over and
Language.
Alterian, old Alterian. And as he says those words, you watch as Elendril walks over, grabs the handle of the dagger, and in the same language says something back to him. And you see both of their faces just stark white. Elendril grins, and he looks to you and he says, "He was telling them not to tell you about your plot."
Oh, man, we don't have to do this. We already know what's going to happen. Make it easy on yourselves. I'd snap my fingers and say, something savory for them, please?
No, 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 no. Elendril says, "We don't need both of them. And if you're going to feed them something tasty, I would rather it just be the one." And
The one that knows the plot, right?
he turns back and he says, "That one was the one not told not to talk." And he points to the other one, who kind of goes, "That one doesn't seem like he's going to be worthwhile. I'm going to have a time with him." And he walks over and he takes the dagger and rends the rope. And then as the guy kind of struggles, he kind of pushes his neck against the wall. And he says, "Easy." And then places the dagger against his neck. "We're going to go up on deck. We'll be back for the other one if you need me to." And he slowly kind of takes this guy, struggling a bit, up onto the top of the ship. The other guy's like,
So, how would you like to be something savory?
the captain of the ship kind of passing that by after a fashion comes downstairs and tosses you, you know, a small kind of ration, just like meat, and bread.
Looking at the guy, how worn is he? Looks pretty worn, right? I
Yeah,
could.
he definitely went ghostly white once they found out Elendril spoke their language. But yeah,
Um, I would say, let's go ahead and have the food here at the table. I assume there's a table in the room, correct? There's always a table in the
no,
room.
not in this one. We're in the bowels of the ship.
I'd find like maybe like I don't know, something you can eat off of. I
Sure.
would take a knife and I would leave his wrists bound
Okay.
before I kind of took him from the hammock or kind of loosed his body so he can have some movement.
Flitz will help you out and get him down and get him into a more
Amiable position, where you'd be more
yeah, more
comfortable.
comfortable but still bound position. Basically, what they end up doing is kind of setting down just like a small barrel as a seat, and another barrel slightly taller as a table. He then ties the individual to the iron ring of the barrel, kind of inside of the lid of it, and sets the food out on the table, giving him enough kind of like movement there to kind of get the food to his mouth, but not much more.
Okay. And maybe a little wine, Flitz. Nothing fancy, but
I'm sorry, Captain. I am going to have to drink it all tonight. I was just told that the ship is going to be sailing through the clouds, so I'm not really. If it is your command, I suppose I will do it. But
when I mention wine, does the guy perk up a bit or at all?
nah, he seems really
No.
focused on eating this bread.
Okay, that's fine. Just some water, please.
He's.
I would start drinking myself.
Yep. Flitz will go get him some water, but as he leaves, you see the Altarian kind of look up to you and he says, I respect your kindness, but I will tell you that I have no information to grant you.
Friend said that you knew about a plot.
Yes, I understand that that was what was said, but I can only tell you about what we know up until that point and nothing really beyond what the master plot is. I don't think the information will help you much. I'm trying to
Your
be
name?
as... I want this to be as fluid as possible. If you're going to kill us, I don't think that's typically the way of the Enclave, but if you're going to kill us, then kill us. If not...
I'm not going to kill you. I don't know. I don't intend to kill you. Your friend, on the other hand, though, I can't speak for him.
Fair.
I don't know what Captain will do to him. Truly, I met him. Just blinking emptily at, whatever the fuck. Just blinking at him. You're like, I don't know what he's gonna do. Because I'm not lying. I don't fucking know.
I will tell you what I do know up until the assault. Our 3 ships were sent from Great Alteria to arrive at the island you call the Sliver Isle, to purge it. The reasons were not made clear to us as to why that was the case. It is my understanding that it was going to serve as a staging position, but for what I do not know.
Is anything to be retrieved?
No. The mages made clear to ensure that all of the population was skewered and placed upon the spikes, as displayed in the center of town. We did just that, as commanded. Again, the desires of the mages were not granted to us. We simply knew our tasks. You won't get much from my associate either, in regards to what was next, but my presumption is it was an assault on this town, just based on how long it took us to get here.
How many men were in the ships?
If you were the commander of this craft when it attacked the first day, then I would say to you, you set loose to 40 individuals' deaths. The 50 who were crewing those 3 crafts, only a dozen or so remained, as you saw.
How long have you been in service of Alteria?
My entire life.
Yes. How old are you?
He is a human, Alterian human. He looks like he is probably in his 20s, but when he responds, he says, "I'm 33."
Elf?
What was that?
Are you a half?
I am not.
Does he appear to be like? Has he been telling me the truth thus far? Is he?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he's been lying to you. It definitely seems like he's answering curtly. He's answering kind of in a like just to the point kind of manner, but it doesn't seem like he's withholding information, nor does it look like he is trying to deceive.
So I know that you are not of a high station. Do you think that, knowing that your guys' plot or plan has failed, that they will be sending out more ships? Or
I presume that if their intent was to move on the Rended Isles, as I assume is the case, the mage who escaped, according to my associate, he kind of stops for a second. I apologize. I have told you quite a lot, and I understand the situation is not terribly favorable to me. What is it that you plan to do with me after our exchange?
not harm you at all. I told you I don't intend to harm you.
I understand vagueness.
You will not be freed.
I understand vagueness, but I will respond with vagueness if that is the game you wish to play.
I assure you, you are not to be freed.
You do not seem to be listening to me, Merchant. I said, if you answer my questions with vagueness, I will answer yours in kind. So,
be imprisoned.
where will I be imprisoned?
The capital.
Make an insight check.
I think he likes you.
He seems to be a weird mix of emotions when you kind of say that. And then he kind of looks up to you and he says, "You have been forward with me, I will be forward in turn." The mage, Bennett,
Mike, keep going.
the mage Bennett, the one who escaped according to my associate, will more than likely report to the Alterian Council and Emperor. At such time, they will decide whether or not to proceed forward in these actions. As there is a very, very limited claim on what you refer to as the Sliver Isle, but what is known in Old Alteria as Rabat. There is a claimancy on that island, and your actions may be declared as a action of war. It depends on what the council determines from Bennett and whether or not they're willing to advance on that flimsy a process. That said, as I understand it, you are going to be sending me to the capital, where I will most likely meet with imprisonment for the remainders of my years, until such time my position might be worth trading for someone of a equal manner the opposite side once Alterians start taking prisoners.
You're smart.
I was
You're very smart.
I was trained by the greatest army you'll ever know, and I am sad for you. You have been most kind to me. The hell that you face in your coming days is not something I'd wish upon anyone, but one you will face. The light of Atavius will burn this place to the ground. You and yours will know no feeling, as pain will be stripped from you by his grace.
Fair enough. Eat before you're bound again, please.
Of course. If you go back upstairs, you will see
Guys,
that
he's so friendly. Can we keep him?
you
I
will
like him.
you will see that Lord Elendril has definitely has made for an interesting lot. He currently has the other soldier hanging from one ankle from the mast, and the only other sailor that was present besides Flitz is there with him, kind of pulling the rope upwards. And you'll note that his other leg is bound to the front of the ship, so they're basically pulling.
He's on a rack. Yeah.
They're pulling him apart like a wishbone, and they've kind of got him aloft in the air, hanging there, and he appears to have been whatever clothing he was afforded while he was in the hold has been relieved of him. He is completely bare ass naked, and
Okay.
you can see Elendril go, "Oh, your savior, drop him!" Elendril looks to you. I didn't get much from this one, and he sheaths the dagger. He's speaking in Elvish now, by the way. I did find out that they don't speak Elvish, so I hope that you're keen on the tongue.
I would speak in, yes, in Elf.
I assumed you living in this town would mean that would be the case. But yes, the only thing I was able to afford from him was he wasn't going to tell me anything.
Did he tell you about Benich?
He did not. Who's Benich?
Said Benich. I wanted to be passively perceiving on Old Boy when I said,
The second you see Benich, you see the guy kind of, and then as he kind of starts reacting and trying to get up, a dagger just slams next to his head. Go for it.
I assured our other friend that he would be given.
Hold on. I'm playing my role real quick. He turns back to him. The dagger standing in the ground next to the naked guy. Go for it. And then in a language you don't speak, he seems to say the same thing, goading him. And he draws a dagger, and then he draws a dagger, and he's got two daggers. And then in the language he says that it's same thing again, and you see the guy go.
He won't kill an unarmed man, but once you touch that dagger, well, you know.
He spilled it, didn't he? He spilled everything. Just fucking kill me. I don't care.
We're not sap.
Elendril looks to you and he says, he did ask for it, but he really isn't making a show of wanting to die. If you want to die on your feet, grab the dagger. Show me what you're capable of. Elendril looks back to you like, like cockily, and you see the soldier grab the dagger, and you're kind of like kind of reaching up, and he gets the dagger up and he brings it towards Elendril, like jumping very fast, quite skillfully. And you watch as Elendril just kind of reaches over his shoulder like that with a dagger. And the dagger flies out of his hand into the soldier's head. Elendril looks to you. I'm sorry to have done that on your ship.
It's fine.
He walks over and wrenches the dagger out of the guy's head. I can take him with me if you want. If you need the cleanup, I don't mind dragging.
Use him for jump.
Or that. He starts dragging. He's dragging the body towards the gangplank, and then he turns around and goes the other direction. Chucks him over. He says to you, the other prisoner.
He spoke of Benich. He truly doesn't know much. I informed him we'll be going to the capital as a prisoner. He told me that Benich will be seeking counsel with the Emperor Apparently, they're.
Real quick. Hold on. Sorry. For speed tracking, you tell him everything.
I don't see why I wouldn't.
You then watch him basically recite the same thing into a green stone he's holding in his hand. And then on the opposite side of that green stone, one of the soldiers that is near Lady Alcantara says Lady Alcantara and explains the entire thing to you verbatim. Matt, do you got that?
Yep.
Speed track past the description portion. Elendril tosses the body over the the side of the ship and kind of looks to you. Do you wish to escort him to the guard barracks, or would you like me to take him now?
We could take it now. I wish to have the boat. I wish to have the ship ready.
The Skystone should arrive in a couple of hours. He wanders down into the hold, secures the prisoner, takes him up kindly, and leads him to the guard barracks. And yeah, we'll go ahead and cut from that to.
As he did, I would say, please treat him with courtesy.
Of course.
If he starts speaking of what's his name? Shit, I know his name. The god.
In Elvish, he says to you, if I wanted to treat him cruelly, I would have left the body on the deck until we brought him up.
Well, in Elvish, I would say he likes to, I don't know, relish in grandiose ideas of his god. Don't suffer that. I can't remember his god's name.
Octavius?
Octavius, yeah. You don't have to suffer his goings on of hearing about Octavius and his light. Please shut up if he starts talking about that shit.
The Alterians are known as three things: great warriors, horrible politicians, very self-serving in that regard, and zealots. It's perfectly fine and expected. And as he gets him onto the deck, you can see that Elendril is now talking to him when he's talking to him in his own tongue. And so, yeah, it seems like he's showing him every courtesy and takes him along to the barracks. But again, cutting from you, Ulair, we're just going to move from right to left real quick. Leaf rather. After you were done at the tavern, what were you wanting to do after that? You're muted.
I was going to rest for a little bit, and then I need to go to the funeral that
So
for the four.
You and Alara are basically blocked out for that. Okay, solid.
Yeah.
And again, we don't need to go into too much detail there. It's basically somber, similar to the temple in that regard. Yeah, they didn't have names until after they died, so we don't have to do too much.
But I wrote a thing.
I'm so sorry.
I'll post it in character chat.
Post it in character, yeah.
That said, moving on from you to Cyril. Cyril, you are in your tower. You arrive there, and you would see that you are not alone in this room that appears to have a kind of wooden mannequin style, kind of just really armor thing armor hangs off of. And Ereve is kind of there, kind of poring over a book, looking at it. And as the door opens, she goes, "Oh." And she looks back to you. Master Cyril, and she smiles. I think I found a bit about this. It's called a helmed horror, and it can fly, and it has a magical sword, and the dwarfs use them a lot in their military. At least they used to. When Balonroth was great. It says I found some recordings of when they first tried to siege what is now known as Kasari Yanwi, and how the elves fought back against these things. And I learned a bit more about how to overcome their nature. But here's some books that I got out that might help you in your studies. You kind of see that the reason why she was startled upon the door opening is because she appears to be bored with the subject matter. And she says, "Do you need me to help at all or anything?" And she kind of sounds like she's hoping it's not true.
Excellent work, Arave. You can go.
Thank you. She runs out.
Okay, so I would definitely want to look at those books and especially ways to counteract them.
If you're going Sage mode in your full studies, you can go ahead and compendium search Helmed Horror. They should have a stat block
Okay.
for them. You'll note that the activations are different in a typical Helmed Horror from what was described by the guardsman and the like. So you would do more research specifically on the armor set that you have present. If you'd like to go ahead and make an Arcana check, and you'd also be casting Identify at some point in this kind of practice.
Yeah, I would cast Identify as a ritual.
I presume
and,
that was the case, yeah. Give me that Arcana roll.
I'm going to use my inspiration to make it 25.
It's a good choice. Okay, so first things first, you'll note that the greatsword appears to be magical. And the thing about this greatsword is it appears to be a very strange dwarvish artifice. And basically, what it allows the wielder to do is it grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. But by speaking a dwarvish command word, which you would know, and then speaking a dwarvish word beyond that, meaning the type of weapon, this item can change from a greatsword to any martial bladed weapon.
Okay.
Are karambits martial bladed?
Yeah, karambits are martial bladed weapons.
Quick, while you've got it,
Cyril, I
we
gave you that long sword.
I was going to say, guys, we need to make this into the most deadly weapon we can think of. A pool noodle.
Yeah.
Bladed pool noodle. You would note, too, that the armor appears to have residual. It does appear to be a suit of full plate armor, dwarvish in make. But its only lingering magical trait appears to be resistance to psychic damage.
Okay.
It is a full plate suit armor of resistance. Beyond that, you would be able to tell from the remaining runes on it and also the activations therein with your 25 Arcana that it appears that this specific suit of armor, Helmed Horror, was created with the intent of killing an individual named Elcontra Abicia Relistrium Galche. And it specifically shows that its purpose is to kill her, and then if something stands in your way, destroy it. Third purpose, do not let her escape. Those are the three purposes that have been allotted to this Helmed Horror. And what you're identifying is these things are activations. Basically, first one, beyond or before the kill, is find. And it seems that based on the magic here, the find Elcontra is a divination kind of focused portion of the spell. The kill is more of a... it would also actually be divination, focused on the purpose and abjuration of murdering. The don't let anything stand in your way appears to be more of an evocation kind of burn. The same would be true of the first or the kill. And then do not let her escape seems to be focused on more of an abjuration. That's a cat.
That's a cat.
That is a whole cat. Anyways, so it seems that the spell runes after the Helmed Horror was destroyed are basically inert, but you're able to kind of just define how they work, not so much how to get them to work again. You don't think you could replicate the magic present here. You just understand it.
But the armor could be used as regular full plate with psychic resistance.
Correct.
Got it. And then for the greatsword, there are 2 command words, one to activate and one to turn it into a different weapon if you choose.
You say command word plus dwarvish word for weapon, and it turns to dwarvish word for weapon.
Okay.
Well, it turns into weapon. It doesn't turn into dwarvish word for weapon. So if you say dwarvish word for dagger, it turns into a dagger. Or if you say dwarvish word for...
Yeah, for weapon type, I understand.
Full blade or whatever. Yep.
And do I need to know the command word, or does it matter?
You just need to be able to speak dwarvish.
which I do.
Yeah, so you could, I mean, yeah, you would know the command word. You wouldn't know the Dwarvish word for weapons, but if you didn't speak Dwarvish, so you could tell somebody, since you know Dwarvish, you could tell somebody this is the word you want to say, and this is the other word you want to
Mhm.
say.
Got it.
Spoon.
If you wanted it to be a spoon, I could consider that bladed only if it were a spork.
Spork. Okay. +1 spork.
There are also, I think they're called spives. There's the,
Oh, spoon knives.
yeah, there's like spoons with knife edges. I don't know what they're called though.
Shibs or shanks,
No.
basically.
Oh, they're called
Wait,
knife
could we
forks.
turn it into?
Knife forks are
I was
called
gonna say,
norks.
could we turn it into a?
Norks.
Can we turn it into a +1 shank though?
It's a dagger, kind of.
Just saying.
Is it a martial weapon?
Oh, it's called a splade.
Blade.
A splade is a spoon, knife, and fork. That's the one you want.
Oh, that's really weird.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
Internet.
I still have questions. So
Sure.
the books that Arave found, does it help us stop these things?
No, so what I was trying to relay with that is you basically know the exact statistics of a helmed horror.
Okay.
It's damage resistance, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks
Yeah.
made with but specifically, sorry, the way this game is working is similar to my Saga game. When a damage resistance says non-magical attacks not made with adamantine weapons, the way I'm ruling resistances in this game is it's just adamantine weapons. It will take half damage from all weapons, even magical ones, unless they're made out of adamantine. Period. Same for silver, same for all of that. If it says specifically the resistance is of a type, magic doesn't just override that.
Mm.
Just makes I like the Monster Hunter idea of I need the right tool for the job instead of I've got this magic weapon. I don't need to think about it ever again. it's just,
Right. So actually, like a difficult Witcher game as opposed
Yes.
to like one of the easier Witcher games.
That's fair. That's a fair statement. Yes.
Cyberpunk.
So, is there any way to research whether or not the use of this construct is something that hasn't happened in a while? That's like
It seems common.
it seems common. Okay.
Yeah, even to this day, is the presumption based on the studies that she was able to get. Sorry, my cat is on her back, tummy up, and
Mm.
that's just got to happen. Oh my god, you're so cute right now. Why are you so cute right now? Okay, I need you to stop it because I'm trying to run. Daddy trying to run D&D. Okay, don't kick the camera. All right.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead. Your
No
question.
worries. I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna cut back to Alcantara. I'll give you the last word. Is there anything in particular you want to do with the remainder of the afternoon here?
So as I said, I am like sending Sayla out to sort of organize that meeting. I am going to as I said, I'd called Halo to like prep the body, and I'm sort of like, as I said, I'm figuring, and well, I'm just sort of thinking, like, I'm wondering if there's something different when a elf dies in battle as opposed to normally in terms of a way to like honor them. But I wasn't sure if that seems like a normal thing for an elvish society or not.
The most honorable thing you can do for an elf is bury them and plant a tree on top of them. That is the most honorable thing you can do for an elf. The reason why is because their life will basically go into a new life.
The tree.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I basically would have, like, when I'd, like, had Halo come, I would have been sort of, not necessarily directing him in what to do, but, you know, saying, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
prepping that sort of stuff, like where we're going to bury, when, what sort of
Okay.
like that sort of stuff.
So to kind of speed race through some things.
Yeah.
First things first, we're just going to I'm going to do a quick just kind of run of it because we are getting to the close of it. So Leaf, you spend a lot of time basically performing for a number of different kind of services. Ulair and the Hunters, you spend some time there. And I'm assuming that there's probably some call for you to go to Valesha's burial as well, as it's proper to get them buried as soon as possible, so the life still lingers there in the body, so it's presumed. So you're spending a lot of time throwing down. You literally party from dawn till dusk, but it's all seemingly kind of. The first party was like, oh, this is for a good and actual like congratulatory purpose, and then everything else is kind of like somber.
How much would be proper compensation for Leaf services?
I mean, whatever you feel is necessary. Don't worry about that. I don't care about numbers right now.
I want to make sure Leaf gets paid something.
Cyril, you spend the remainder of your evening studying and don't really get out to anything else, but you do find all of the information we discussed. Alvin, you will be last. Ulair, again, somber times. Halo does arrive at the services for the Hunters, and then does arrive at the services for Valesha and gives a pretty moving speech there as well. Lady Alcantara, do you go to the services for Valesha?
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on going there and giving
Okay.
some sort of speech to.
Is there any in particular place you would want her to be buried? Like any particular grove or anywhere like around the keep or anything?
I imagine there is actually a place specifically in, like, by the keep for, like, where fallen captains are. Sort of like
Sure.
our own. What's the place in Washington? The
Yeah.
graveyard, like in Virginia that I'm thinking of. Sort of like that.
Okay.
That many dead guards?
Fair
No,
enough.
just captains. Just
Oh,
captains,
man.
I said.
So, anyways, services.
We don't want that riffraff here.
Services are performed therein. And last but not least, Alvin, towards the middle of the day, closer to the evening time, a group of soldiers does come to you, Elendril with them, and they appear to be carrying a very strange device connected to golden kind of mechanical like rods that are kind of holding this kind of capsule in place. They move towards your ship, and you can see Flitz start to get just really jazzed, and they move that into the craft. You can see them start to work at basically breaking the ship has two masts. They're breaking one of the masts off. They tell you that it will not be required if the ship does set sail. It will only need one sail ever again. And they set to it. After about an hour or two of this working, you can see that bindings kind of flare out across the sides of the ships, and then kind of like lock into place, these strange magical glyphs, and then they kind of become invisible. And you can see the water start roiling around the ship as the ship slowly rises up out of the water and floats about 2 feet off of the water.
Love it.
Oh man.
Okay,
All right.
me and Fritz are gonna go on we're gonna ride this puppy to the moon. I don't know.
The moon's a great
Oh,
option.
dammer!
The moon's a great option, but I do want you to think about what you can do now with that as an option.
Oh, I will, but like right now, we are totally just taking it around. We're flying around the town.
And the
Right.
name of this session was intentional. We are no longer going to remain in this calmness. I want to make sure you are all ready for the next beat. It'll be a bit harder moving forward, so I want to make sure that you are understanding. Like, if this were a Final Fantasy game, this would be the part where it starts rolling the credits and playing the adventurous music, where we're going to get into kind of a bit more of a your actions will matter a lot here. So I don't say that to scare you. I just want to make sure that you are ready. Also, next session, I hope by next session, we'll be showing off the cool art for all the characters that I've got there, and look out for that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and close out the session. Thanks to people who were watching. It was great seeing some people in the viewing there. Yeah, I'll pick up next week on Friday at 7:30. See you then.